Hello and welcome. I'm John Bachman. Bianca has the day off. We begin this hour with breaking news. Russia launching a wave of new attacks across cities in Ukraine that include strikes on civilians in the capital of Kyiv. At least 11 people have been killed and dozens injured, according to Ukraine's state emergency service. The missile strikes come in response to an attack on the Kerch Bridge, which links Russia to Crimea. Russian President Vladimir Putin warning of even more severe retaliation during a televised speech to his Security Council. He called the bridge attack a, quote, act of terror and blamed Ukraine. Putin, however, is facing international condemnation this afternoon in the wake of his attacks in response to that. Ukraine's foreign minister tweeting, quote, no, Putin was not provoked to unleash missile terrorage by Crimea Bridge. Russia had been constantly hitting Ukraine with missiles before the bridge, too. Putin is desperate because of battlefield defeats and uses missile terror to try and change the pace of war in his favor. Joining us now live in Lviv, Ukraine, foreign correspondent Shelby Wilder. Shelby, good to see you. Tell us about the situation right now, and are you hearing any explosions near you?
Hi, John. Good afternoon. Well, you did an amazing job summing that up here. I just want to start by apologizing for our connection. We are without power here in Lviv. There is sort of panic as no one is able to charge their phones. They don't have cell service. So we're just really working with the best that we have. But Ukrainians today awoke to what appeared to be the heaviest wave of attacks that have happened in this country since the war began, as you mentioned. Russia carried out strikes this morning in at least 10 cities here in Ukraine, starting in Lviv, where I am right now, also in Kyiv, Kharkiv, Dnipro, Ternopil, Mykolaiv, Zhytomyr, Zaporizhia, and others. This is a developing story, so we have an unconfirmed number of dead and wounded at the moment. It is believed, as you said, that at least 10 or 11 people have been killed, but again, there are rescue efforts underway in different parts of the country. We know that Kyiv was hit at rush hour as people were heading to work. They were taking their children to school. We saw that a park in the center of town was hit, along with a playground and busy intersections. I just want to note that it's quite shocking that these attacks have happened across the country, specifically in Kyiv and Lviv, where we've seen this sort of lull. They had been spared attacks since June. And so really today it was just unbelievable to wake up to this news as it was happening. I think many Ukrainians feel like we're repeating the 24th of February. But continuing with the news, as you said, this is really payback in Putin's eyes following the attack on Saturday at the Kerch Bridge in Crimea, which dealt a humiliating blow to the Kremlin. And Russia has responded by carrying out this mass bombing campaign. Now, Putin did admit to these attacks, which you also touched on, and he said in an address today that if Kyiv was to continue attacking Russian territory, he said that Russia would respond harshly. Now, we know that Russia used at least 83 missiles this morning and 17 drones to carry out this attack. We know that Ukraine also shot down 41 of them, which really just shows the scale of the attacks, even despite Ukraine's air defenses working to the best of their ability. Now, President Zelensky made an address this morning, really, as these attacks were unfolding. He was standing in Kyiv, not far from where some of these missiles landed, and he said that it was a rough morning and that Ukraine was dealing with terrorists. He also said, quote, they are trying to destroy us and they want to wipe us off the face of the earth. He also warned that there were dead and wounded in different parts of the country, and he said there were incoming missiles urging citizens to stay inside shelters. Now, we know that President Zelensky will be speaking at this emergency G7 meeting that's going to be taking place tomorrow. And the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv also announced today they first urged everyone to take shelter, and then they said that U.S. citizens should leave the country immediately. This is all amid another development what happened this morning, where the Belarusian president, Lukashenko, announced that his country would be joining Russia to create a military task force. We believe that means that they will be sending in troops, but again, they haven't said much otherwise. That is still unfolding. And just to sort of give you a rundown of my morning here, I mean, I woke up to first seeing a missile that had launched here, had hit here in Lviv. I went on my balcony to start filming that. I think you guys are showing videos right now. And then as I was standing there on my balcony, there was another missile that landed behind me that was much closer. And then at that time, I had to go to a shelter. We spent roughly 2-3 hours in a shelter until the air raid sirens let up. But again, we are without power here. People are trying to stock up on food, on gas, and they're really afraid that we could see more of these attacks taking place. You know, Ukrainians are defiant. They're not going to yield to Putin, but there is certainly a lot of concern here on the ground as we've seen these attacks unfold today.
Shelby Wilder for us live in Lviv, Ukraine. Shelby, stay safe and take care.
Thank you so much.